Hey everybody, this is Captain Kyle. I'm here at Blerdcon 2018, and for all you Black Panther fans, here is a Dora Milaje panel right now.
Thank you everyone for coming to the Dora Q&A panel. And these three strong women make up the Dora Milaje of Black Panther. What introduced you into the world of stunt acting?
Can I go first? Yeah. So stunt acting. Well, I've always known I wanted to be an actress since I was a little girl, 8 years old, maybe even earlier. And I've always dreamed to come out to LA because of everything, the entertainment business is out there, the weather is beautiful, just it's the atmosphere to be in. So I've always wanted to go there and work in film. When I was in high school, I did a little bit of theater. In college, I did theater. And then I came right out here and started trying to get myself on sets, doing background work. And the goal, everybody's goal at one point is to get into the union, SAG, AFTRA. And eventually, when I made it there, I just started asking around, seeing where all of the other stunt people were training, what they were doing, how they were doing it, and I just listened, I followed where they went, meet people, make myself present and known, and that's how I got into stunt acting. I was always like physically active, like I did gymnastics in high school, track, softball, I danced all throughout high school, so I was always naturally moving. So just kind of naturally fell into stunts.
That's cool. I would also say, similar to Keisha, I also naturally fell into stunts. So when I moved to LA 2 years ago, and at the time I quit my job in the corporate world. I had just graduated college like 2 years prior, and I found myself really unpassionate about what I was doing, although I was doing really good at it. So I came to LA with the dream of being a really big household name actress, which is still the dream and it's still alive and it's still doing it. I mean, even in Black Panther, we did acting and stunts. I mean, in order to even do a stunt role, when you're playing a character such as a Dora Milaje, you are acting and you're putting the physicality of doing stunts. So, that's in any role you're gonna ever play, if you're doubling an actor or not. I was a year into LA, I was doing a lot of different projects, I submitted to everything. I mean, if it was free, if it was $25 a day, $50 a day, whatever, I wanted to be on set working, doing my dream. I didn't care, I hustled out there. And I was like, what can set myself apart? I was like, well, you know what? Maybe acting. I mean, not acting, maybe stunts, because I was like, I want to be the black girl James Bond. I already speak 6 languages, so I wanted to learn the physicality, and I already did martial arts when I was younger. So all of a sudden, I had just joined the union a few months prior, went to a SAG stunt panel similar to this, but it was all stunt performers and action actors. And then I was hearing about what they do, I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. And then some people, I asked a million questions, so I encourage you to ask questions in the direction of where you want to go to guide you to get there. That's a really good quote. I asked questions, and long story short, I realized that there was a need for me. I am about 5'5", 5'6". I weigh 103 pounds. There's not a lot of small girls in there. I double a lot of kids sometimes. And on the flip side, I can play a kid, take a reaction, spit some lines, and it works out. So fell into it, best decision ever, because it led me to not only Luke Cage, but Black Panther and so much more. So I'm thankful.
So Black Panther introduced me to the stunt world, believe it or not. It was my first time doing stunts, and
she was amazing.
And though I look athletic, I'm not an athletic person. I don't do martial arts. I don't do sports. I don't do any of that. But my story is interesting because when there were conversations that had started around the industry about Black Panther, when it was announced 2 years ago, and it was announced that Ryan Coogler was directing it, I kind of set a goal for myself that I really, really wanted to be involved in this project because I wanted to support him. I'm a huge fan of his, and I like his storytelling style, and I think he has a lot of heart. And he was just somebody that I wanted to be around and to whose work I wanted to contribute. So I wrote Black Panther on my vision board, prayed about it a bunch, and finally got the opportunity to audition for an acting role. I didn't get it, got really depressed about that. And then I found out later that a good friend of mine had booked a role. So I was really encouraged and excited that there was somebody that I knew who was going to be a part of this project. So, fast forward to a year and a half later, a casting director kind of out of the blue contacts me on Facebook and says, hey, would you be interested in auditioning for this untitled Marvel film? And I thought, are you kidding me? Is this some kind of a scam? Why would somebody contact me on Facebook? Why wouldn't they call my agent? This is very, very suspicious. But fortunately, I listened to that little voice inside me and continued the conversation. And within a week, I was in Atlanta shooting, went through a rigorous 2-week boot camp, 8-hour-a-day training, so intense that at the end of the day I couldn't even walk, but it was probably one of the best experiences of my life, and it was wonderful just to be around all these professional stunt people, particularly people of color, because it's such a small community, and I'm pretty sure every person of color who does stunts in Hollywood was in Atlanta, worked on Black Panther, and that's really, really saying a lot. And I think when people think about acting and the entertainment industry, they're really not aware that stunts is a viable option. Especially if you are a physical person, if you are an athlete. That is a good kind of avenue to consider if you want to pursue a place in this entertainment industry. What was also heartening was to be around these people who were encouraging for me, like, Keisha and Carrie were in my crew. They were helping me out a lot, and I felt very inadequate and I felt very behind, but I also knew that I was there for a purpose, and I really focused on that. I focused on what brought me there, and I just poured my heart into it. And it was also encouraging to see that not all of the Doras were just exclusively doing stunts. There were a couple there who were professional dancers and did some other kind of physical work, and because they had the look and they fit the role, they got the opportunity to come in and participate in this movie. So it was just a lucky streak, and I was extremely fortunate to have my eyes open to this world of stunts. So please, I give all props to professional stunt people, particularly Black stunt women. You guys are amazing.
Okay, for the next question, on the Black Panther set, what was your favorite stunt or scene to perform?
Anybody?
Oh, God.
Okay. What am I saying? I had a couple favorite scenes or stunts that I did. Okay, so my favorite stunt that I did was, I actually was one of the doubles for Denai, the Okoye character, on top of the car in South Korea. So I got to ride that car on the streets of South Korea, going about 60 kilometers per hour at one point, maybe 50 kilometers per hour at one point. I don't know, it was fun, and I just held on tight, like I embodied the role. Like when I get super into it, they're probably like, oh, she thinks she is a Koya, okay, that's fine. But yeah, we practiced a couple of weeks before with me sliding around on the car, on top of the car. They were doing 180s, 360s, just going, sliding, stopping, reverse 180s, all with me on top of the car just to get comfortable, to make sure I'm tight and not wavering like un-superhero-esque. So I had to, just tighten up and use every muscle in my body to, look like a superhero on top of a car. So that was my favorite. That's like an original stunt. I don't see that in any other movie. Do you guys? If you do, tell me. I feel like I'm the first one. Am I the first one to be on top of a car? No, there's got to be another movie with somebody on top of a car. But that was my favorite because I did it. And I was actually in South Korea. It was my first time traveling out of North America. Yeah. And I also loved all the fighting in the end that all of us met each other. Well, not met, but did together. The fighting was very intense. It was fun, but I loved being on top of the car.
I think my favorite, it's so hard to choose which one's my favorite. All of them. But I have to admit, when we went through the whole process, because we shaved our heads bald for the role. I don't know if you're going to ask us that question or not, but we could probably talk about that because there's a whole nother answer. But when we actually booted up for the first time and put on the full costume that weighed 10 to 15 pounds, and then we had shaved bald heads, and we ran on the scene to do the battle, and we were running towards Killmonger, I think, right? Or was it Black Panther? Killmonger. When we were running towards Killmonger to say, "Are you serious? Are you really ready for a war?" I was that was my favorite moment. It wasn't the fighting, but carrying our spears and just going into battle. My mind was, I was a warrior and I am defending Wakanda by all means necessary. And I was just my mind was focused on, I'm killing every target that's coming towards me. I don't care. I was you get out of my way. And don't get me wrong, I didn't hurt nobody. But in my mind, I killed everybody that was coming to me. So that was my favorite part, because I was I'm a warrior. You ain't gonna take me on.
We got super into it.
Yeah, we did. I think my favorite part was fighting, doing all the fight loops, fighting against the border tribe.
Oh, yeah.
And even when we were training, there was a point where we were fighting against the Jabari, and they're huge guys. And you're there training with them, and you're, kicking their ass and feeling really, really powerful when you have the costume and the spear. And, there were certain fight loops where you would do the choreography and end up in a really powerful pose, and it just felt really wonderful to be in that kind of position where you're showing your strength, because it's something that as Black women we don't really get to do in films. I don't really see that a lot in the industry. So it was nice to have the opportunity to do that and to be able to see that on screen. And I also get a lot of comments, people saying, "Oh, the Dora Milajes kind of stole the scene," or they really stood out. And I'm kind of proud when I hear people say things like that, because we've always been that way, and it's nice to finally get recognized for that.
Okay, aside from the physical preparation, is there any way that you prepared yourselves to be on-screen Marvel superheroes?
All my life I prepared for this. How did he say it? What did Killmonger say? All my life. I don't know. I prepared for these moments. No, but seriously, so by the way, I'm Carrie Bernans. I don't even know if we introduced ourselves at the beginning, and this is Constance, Ejuma. Okay, and this is Keisha Tucker. But I think seriously, all my life I prepared to be a warrior, and little did I know I was gonna be a warrior in Black Panther. But I was born actually in Richmond, Virginia, right up the state. All right, and I was born in the building, Richmond. Actually, I lived in DC too, 3 blocks from the White House. All right. I also lived in Baltimore for a bit, so 410. And I was in New York too, up in Brooklyn. Yeah. Look at that. Yes, I knew something was about this place. Look at this. Yes. So, when I was younger, for 6 years old to 16, I actually went to new school every 6 to 8 months. My mom was a single parent mom, had me as a teenager. We fled from my dad at 6 years old, hopped on a plane from Panama, went back to America, was in Virginia. So I had this like crazy childhood, right? And I like was really poor. I was like homeless at times. We stayed in our car. We stayed in different places, homeless shelters, a lot of stuff. So when I think about a warrior, I think about people that survived a lot. You know, you fought a lot, you faced a lot of adversity. I'm sure we have some warriors in the room, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, you went through a challenge of, do I sleep in bed for another hour or do I wake up? Or maybe the challenge was, do I sacrifice, you know, some money in order to make ends meet, or sacrifice for your kids or whatever. But I think, like, when you're talking about preparing to be a warrior, I feel like all my life I fought this. You know, all my life I said, oh my God, I had the chance of choosing to see a negative perspective or a positive perspective, and thankful by the time I was like 11 or 12, I started thinking in a positive way. Well, God, you must be using this story for a purpose. I'm gonna help somebody, you know, and just to keep pushing through, keep having the dream alive, keep thinking about the vision, and keep thinking like, I can conquer this, I can get over this, I can achieve this, and all of this is possible, you know. So I thought about this, and that's kind of my warrior moment of just surviving poverty, making it, and continuing to make it, to prove to anybody else that think that no matter where you come from, no matter who you are, I'm pretty sure you hear this all the time, but you can make it. So you are all warriors. Any other warrior moments to prepare you, ladies?
How do I prepare to be a warrior? Prayer, meditation, taking a moment to just look within myself and gather up my strength. And also recognizing that, you know, my purpose isn't to fight what's going on out there, is to really overcome my own weaknesses and my own personal challenges, and challenging my own self. Because once I do the work inside, then everything else outside of myself kind of falls into place. So I think it's very easy to think that all of the problems and the challenges that we're facing are just being kind of thrust upon us. But I think it's really up to us to decide whether or not to get out of bed or stay in bed. Or, you know, if you're having a hard time at work and your boss is getting on your nerves, deciding that they're not gonna be the ones to keep you down, and that you're gonna fight through whatever it is that you're going on and overcome it. So I suppose it's a very Zen way of looking at the warrior's preparation, but for me it's very much internal.
I love it.
I don't know, I kind of feel like I was preparing for it naturally with stunts before Black Panther. I didn't know it was Black Panther before I started working on it. And then, but I did have a fitting weeks before the South Korea scene. I did that part first. So I had a fitting for a dress that was small and tight. And I was like, crap, I'm like barely fitting in this dress after the fitting. So I definitely tried to work out and eat right because I wanted to look good on camera. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So I definitely tried to lose a little bit of weight before South Korea. Just ran every day and tried to eat not like fast food, basically. And so that worked out. And then in South Korea, they have a selection of food that made me even healthier and look even better. So that was one preparation. But before all the fighting, I was trying to take more fight classes and more weapons classes just to get better in my fighting techniques. So that worked out. I didn't, the weapons that we were using, like training, I never used a bow staff before that. It was like, I was training Kali, doing sticks, double sticks, stick like this, but the bow staff was the first time I trained doing that, like right before we did the war scenes. So yeah, just a lot of working out and eating right.
Who in your life was most excited to see you as a superhero?
I feel like my friends are the most excited, like my friends from back home. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, but yeah, I know a lot of people from Massachusetts and Connecticut area because I used to work at the Six Flags New England that's over there. But they were all in the Batman shows and everything, and all into comics and all that. So they're the most excited. And they're like, "Oh, my friend is in Black Panther. There's her name in the credits," and they're telling their kids. I'm the only one without a kid. But they're telling their kids, "I know that girl. I went to high school with her." So they're definitely the most excited, and I love it. I feel honored that they're so proud of me, and yeah, it feels good.
Yeah. I don't know. I think everybody was excited. I'm not gonna lie. Like so before I like really fully went into acting and stunts and everything, I was like working a corporate job. I was working for the NBA. And I had a really great job that a lot of people wanted or thought was really cool. And I thought it was a cool job too. But I wasn't really passionate about it. I was making good money, I was doing a really great job, but once I quit my job and I moved to LA, I ain't gonna lie. And we'll talk about these quotes later, but you're gonna have a lot of people that doubt you, like, you moved to LA to do what? Become an actor? Really? Do you know how hard that is? Blah, blah, blah. So I had a lot of haters, and then I had a lot of supporters. So I had did some things before that, but when I got Black Panther, I think everybody was shocked and they went, wow. My family, probably my mom and my guy, my husband, Constance, was probably the most excited because they believed in me, but they also kind of had a little slight doubt, because I ain't gonna lie, The family like, are you sure you want to do this? You should have a full-time job while you're doing this. I'm like, no, I'm gonna hustle my butt off. I'll drive Uber if I have to. I'll do whatever I have to do in order to achieve my dream. I don't care. I will work in and out jobs. Not in and out the restaurant, but like, what? I'll do it on Craigslist. Oh, you need somebody to come here for 2 hours to pass out flyers. I'll pass out flyers. Whatever I had to do. So when I got Black Panther, God, when they saw me on screen, everybody went wild. They were like, what? And then once it made $1 billion, Lord Jesus, the Instagram DMs came, the text messages and the phone calls. So it's like, just do it. Like, keep working. All I'm saying, one quote I'm gonna give right now is just keep putting in the work. The naysayers are gonna say stuff. Just keep doing. Ignore the noise. Keep going, because you're gonna make somebody proud, and somebody's gonna get inspired by what you do because you kept going even when people doubted you, or even when people didn't believe that your dream was too big or anything. Just keep going, and something big will happen. It will.
Awesome. Probably my mom. When I told her I had booked Black Panther, she went and told all of her friends, and they told all of their friends. So when the movie was coming out, they were all buying advance tickets. So I think eventually she saw the poster for Black Panther, the official poster with, Chadwick and Lupita and Denai and all of those people, and she looked at it real close, and she calls me and she goes, so, I don't see your face on this poster. What's up with that? So I had to explain to my mom why I was not on the poster. And sometimes it's really hard when you go to LA as an actor and you're struggling. I mean, all of us have had our challenges, and you're there for a decade, and people are wondering, why don't we see you on TV more often? And you kind of have to explain how difficult it is and how competitive it is and how hard you have to work to get the little opportunities that you do get, and how all of those have to stack up until you eventually have a really huge breakthrough. So they have all these expectations of like, oh, we're gonna see you on a huge billboard, and you have those hopes and dreams for yourself too, but you also know what the reality is. So it's funny when those moments come up and you have to explain, oh, by the way, I'm not on the poster because there were 1,000 people who were in this movie and I'm not one of the top billed cast. But that's pretty cool too. I am also from Cameroon. I was born in Cameroon. I grew up in Silver Spring. So I'm from the DMV area. But so my relatives in Cameroon got super excited about this Black Panther, and everyone who has gone to see the film, they send me social media messages saying, "Oh my gosh, you were so amazing, you were so fantastic." And sometimes I don't have the heart to explain to them that I am not the person that they think, because they mistake me for Denai a lot. So apparently I am a celebrity in Cameroon because everybody thinks I am Denai Gurira. That's hilarious. But I'm very proud because I think this movie has been so huge and has instilled so much pride in African Americans, in Africans, in people all over the world, that if I I'm a representative for Cameroon in this film, if this is their way of allows them to take more ownership of it, I'm very proud and honored to be that symbol for them. So definitely my family, my mom, and my countrymen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad, like, when the movie came out and people were like, "That was you, that was you." I was like, "No, that wasn't me. Not right there. No, over there, that's me. No, that was you though too. No, that wasn't me." We're all bald. It's okay. But I was going to say half of the people that I know weren't excited until they started seeing the previews, because I would mention to people, "Hey, I'm working on this movie called Black Panther," and they'd be like, "Oh, is that a civil rights movie? Is that a movie about civil rights? The Black Panther movement?" No, it's a superhero. Like, you guys would probably be the only ones that would know if I told you before the movie was released. But yeah, that's when they started getting excited, is when they actually started seeing previews and started, seeing it come on TV and all that.
Okay, awesome, thank you. So, what are your thoughts on the cultural importance of playing a role of Dora Milaje in this movie?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead first. I say this a lot, maybe if you've seen another interview, but I'll say it again because I think it's so needed, is that it is so important that we break the stereotypes of all diverse people. I mean, Asians don't just have to be smart people. Black people don't have to just be pimps. Black women don't have to just be prostitutes and slaves or the master servant, So I think it was important for us to really show Black women, especially Black little girls and boys that's looking out there, that you can be warriors, kings, queens, you can be scientists, you can be leaders in technology. That was all important. So for Dora Milaje to just go out there and not only to not have any hair, but to be fully dressed, it shows that you can be beautiful, fully dressed, have no hair, and still be respected, Yeah, you can clap for that. Go ahead. That's fun. So I think it's just so important to me that, shoot, you can be big, small, however you want to be. Just go out there and just do the damn thing. And I don't usually curse, but I think that was important. So, yeah, that's what I feel.
Well, I think it's hugely important. I think from a broader perspective, Black Panther is not really that fictional. Because when you look at Africa, the vibranium, right? This thing, but Africa has a lot of natural resources that are being exploited by people who are not African. And the tribe from which the Dora Milajes are based, there were a lot of African cultures and communities where warrior women were the ones who were leading the country. So it's interesting how that history that isn't often exposed is kind of being touched on in this movie, and people are now starting to recognize that, oh, wait a minute, the narrative of African women and the narrative of Black women hasn't just been this one thing. In ancient history, we were the Dora Milajes. They're not fictional, they did exist. So it's great to have that history be resurfaced and re-explored, and have us kind of recognize our own greatness, because we do come from that.
Yes, tell that.
And to build on top of like the empowerment that it did for society and women, little children of color, it also changed. I feel like it also changed people's perception of beauty in a lot of ways. Like us having shaved our head. I'll go back to that. I'm sure we were all. Well,
oh my God.
She already had a little bit short hair, but Carrie had long, beautiful hair. And I mean, I didn't have long, beautiful hair, but like, there was a fear there that, you know, I shave off my head and you don't know what's gonna look like under there. You don't know if you're gonna look cute. So yeah, I was definitely feeling a little less confident after that. But you know, after the movie came out, even after I cut my hair before the movie came out, I have a lot of positive responses, and now I see a lot of people, you know, you've heard of long hair don't care, now it's short hair don't care, or no hair don't care, sorry. No hair don't care, you can have no hair and still be beautiful, and I feel like that's brushing off on society, the way people see, you know, you don't always have to have a long, beautiful weave anymore. If you don't have hair, you're still beautiful, you know? Yeah, I like, honestly, I bought a lot of wigs when I shaved my head, because I thought I would need them, and I have not been wearing, we were talking about that before, I have not been wearing them because I'm just getting more comfortable and accepting myself naturally, and accepting my own beauty, and everybody's positive responses are helping, so yeah.
And I'm just gonna piggyback on that, only because, I mean, all the girls, for the most part, had hair. No, she had little hair, still have hair, you know? But I did have longer hair. When they first called me about the movie, they said, they offered me the role over the phone, whatever, and they just said, oh yeah, the only thing is, are you gonna be willing to shave your head bald? And I was like, what? Shave my head, what? Hold up, which movie is this? Oh, the title is under Motherland, we can't tell you, blah, blah, blah. And then they end up telling me because I just said, no, I said, I'm not sure, you're gonna have to give me a few days to think about it. Can I get a week? I don't know. And don't get me wrong, I will tell you to never say that because you never know if the job is gonna be waiting for you, especially in the entertainment world. So I have to admit, I was like, can I call you back? 3, 4, 5 hours later, I had a talk with my mentor in a class of people I was studying Taekwondo with, and then he was like, you have a marvel opportunity to shave your head bald. What's wrong with you? Your hair's gonna grow back. And I was like, oh my God, it really made me think for a moment of, am I really questioning about keeping my hair? Like, is my beauty really defined in my hair? You know, and then it just made me think about, no, what example am I carrying to these young girls and boys out there that beauty is by the image on the outside? No. So I did this for them. I said, okay, I'm gonna go shave my 16, 18 inches of hair. And you know what? All the people that said I had big heads before, booyah, my head. It worked out. Since then, I had my hair has grown out. You can ask the girls, and I still shaved it back down because I was like, I like it short. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I'm gonna open it up to the audience. We have time for maybe 3 questions from the audience. So my last question is, I'm asking for a friend, not me, but have you, any of you, ever used your professional skills to kill someone, maybe an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or something? And if so, can we get a step-by-step guide on how?
I've never killed anybody. I don't want to either. I get scared when I like hurt somebody or like pinch them, like, oh my God, you're okay. But I mean, I have used some of my training to defend myself at one point against my sister, believe it or not. Don't tell her I'm telling you guys. Yeah, there was one time it just comes naturally now. If somebody's coming at me, I just and it naturally comes up to block myself, and I'm not getting hit. anytime soon.
One answer, no, because I would like you guys to ask questions.
Yeah,
Never
same.
tell anybody. I'm
No?
I have
okay.
another.
All right. Okay. Does anyone in the audience have a question? We think we have time for maybe 3. We have 10 minutes left. Okay, Stefani, would you like to come up, take the mic?
So my question, and all of you can answer, is, were any of y'all deeply into comics before this role?
I love comic books, yes. I own, I don't know how many, maybe like 30, 40. I mean, I had everything, all the Marvel comics. I was a big X-Men fan, I ain't gonna lie. I was a Wolverine fan.
Yeah.
Woo, he is sexy, you know? Like, I ain't gonna lie, I want him to come back. Hugh Jackman, baby, I'm gonna be here for you. I wanna be Storm one day, you never know. Dude, I'll play, look, I love comic books. God, Captain Marvel, God, so many, the Flash, which is in the DC world, but I am a fan, because I was a runner, and I was like, I'm Flash. Yeah, I was just a really big fan. I also like anime, you know, yes. Annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa. What do you want me to say? Yeah, anyway, so I'll let them answer. Oh, she said she wasn't yet, but she now is in the crew.
I honestly was, I don't have any comics books, but I did love all the X-Men movies. I was a Storm fan because, well, I started reading up on Storm because I started playing Storm with Marvel character appearances. They used to fly me to different states to do shows as Storm. And about 4 years, or I mean, not 4 years, probably like 2 years or a year before I moved to LA. So I did that, and then 10 years, or however many years later, give it away, but years later, Dora Milaje on Black Panther, and yeah, so I honestly I didn't know much about the Black Panther comic books before I was in it, but I'm going to be reading up a lot more on Marvel comics because I'm working I did work in Ant-Man 2. They had me just driving around in the background, and then coming up, I'm probably not supposed to tell you guys this, but it's already on IMDb. Okay. So I doubled for Lashana Lynch in Captain Marvel coming up in next year. So I have to read up on Captain Marvel because people will ask me questions, and I'm not gonna know if I don't. Yeah.
Thank you. Also, I love your outfit. I love your costume.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, in the aisle right here. Would you like to come up and ask a question?
Thank you.
Hi.
First, I want to say thank you. I've been waiting my whole life to see black women like you on the screen, and I appreciate it. My question is about a story that I heard just a snippet of that Daniel Kaluuya talked about at Warrior Fall, during the Warrior Fall scene, where they were playing the drums and then everybody kind of broke out into a Snoop Dogg song.
Yeah.
Were you there for that?
We was not, I don't think any of us actually was there on that scene, but I did hear that is true. I would say, yes.
Can you tell the story that you know? So far as
Unfortunately,
you know?
because I am not, I do not want to retell the story and tell it wrong.
Okay.
I won't tell you that story, but what I will tell you is that scenes that wasn't shown during what we filmed of Black Panther, I mean, Kendrick Lamar was on our set, as well as Chance the Rapper was there too. I don't know if you guys seen him or met him, but I had a chance to look, and I'm a Chance the Rapper fan. I don't know. I thought everybody seen him. Okay, well, sorry, but we did have some parts that was cut from the movie where it was some real cool hip hop scenes that was cut, but I can't really tell you because I don't want to tell the secrets in case they bring it up. You know what I mean? So anyways, no, we wasn't there, but thank you so much for your question. You look beautiful. I love your hair. Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Why are we here?
Yeah, come on.
We got a Dora Milaje in the back. I see you, girl. Yes. Felicita.
You look so great. Nice shirt.
I think everybody feels this has been very inspiring in many ways. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
You talked about beauty standards, but I'm curious, for anyone who wants to respond, what is one thing you're working to unlearn about what it means to be a Black woman at this point in your life?
It's deep. To be a Black woman right now, and I think this life, is to be unapologetically Black. Like, you can just, it's okay. Like, I think there's a stigma around light-skinned Black women, dark-skinned Black women, this whole thing, you know? And I'm really happy that in the movie Black Panther, we had both light-skinned and dark-skinned Black women, and we had a leader Denai, which is a darker-skinned Black woman. Nothing to say against whiter, lighter skin, any of that. But to show that, I don't think that dark-skinned Black girls really had an image out there to see that it was beautiful to be darker skinned and to be Black and to be beautiful. And I'm so proud and happy to say, like, hey baby girl, look, I'm doing it, you can do it too. Look, just walk around with your head high. You don't have no reason to apologize. I think women, we have a need to apologize for everything. Stop it! No! We don't have to apologize to everything. We can be strong, we can say what we gotta say, and just like men, I know we got some strong men in the building, men say what they say and they walk away, or they leave it at the table, you know what I mean? And I think that, like, even during the movie, it just taught me, like, not that you're disrespectful to people, because I don't tolerate disrespect, but to say what you gotta say and not apologize because you stated your mind, you know, in an adequate way. Even if a person didn't understand it or get it, to just say it, smile, they didn't get it, let it sink in and move on.
Yes.
Thank you.
It is a great time to be an African-American female, mainly because of this movie. I just feel more empowered, like we were talking about. I love the responses of the public. It's just everybody feeling more powerful and unapologetically Black. So yeah, I don't know. You said it all, basically.
Well, there's two things I want to touch on. One is beauty standards, and two is taking ownership of our narratives, our personal narratives as people of color. So on the beauty standards, what's interesting about both Denai and Lupita is that they have kind of set the standard for it being okay for you to accept your complexion, for you to accept your natural hair, for you to accept different hairstyles like short hair. One thing I really admire about somebody like Denai is that she's always been that way. Yeah. She's always looked that way, and she's been in the industry for a very, very, very long time. Even though Black Panther is the platform, I guess, from which she's having a huge breakthrough right now, but she's been around for a long time. And having been in this business myself, you know, you walk into a room, you walk into an audition, and you see 10 different women who look completely different from you, and maybe I'm the only one who's darker skinned, or I'm the only one who has super short hair. And I made a decision a very long time ago that I was going to be myself, that I was not going to try and put myself into some kind of box to make other people comfortable. And I'll share a story. I went to Cameroon one year, and you know, I was out kind of hanging out with my family, and a friend of my mom's came in, an older man, and he looked at me. My mom kind of pointed out to me and said, "Hey, you know, that's my daughter over there." And this man looks at her, and he goes, "That's your daughter?" And my mom goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Wait, really? Are you sure? The actress?" And my mom goes, "Yeah, why are you saying that?" And he goes, "Gosh, if she really wants to be a successful actress, she should really do something about that hair." And when she told me the story later, I just got so angry and enraged that this man bought into this myth that women who are on television and who are on film had to look a particular way. And what offended me about that was the fact that if we're only allowed to have one look and only allowed to tell one particular story, then he was saying the story of somebody who looks like me is not good enough to be on screen. Meanwhile, the majority of people who live out in the world are like me. So I then felt the responsibility of, okay, if this is a challenge, game on. I will do everything I can to make sure that people who look like me are represented on screen. Because if you're saying that I have to do something about my hair, what you're saying is that, you know, I'm not good enough to be on screen, that people like Viola Davis don't have a place on screen, that our stories are not good enough and not worth being told. And I think that's wrong, and I think that's unfair, and I think that's unrealistic. And so, you know, I think kind of as an artist, as a storyteller, as an actress, I feel a responsibility to represent myself a certain way, and to represent the stories of people like me a certain way, because our stories are worth being told. And this is the part I have to play in this business. So yes, beauty standards are very, very important, and I think a lot of us are becoming much more comfortable in our own skin, and I think it's inspiring and encouraging to other people. And I also think that really just being proud of who you are and taking ownership of your story is something that really helps keep you sane and stable.
I think that we might be out of time, but no one has kicked us out yet. So if anyone has another question, maybe we could switch.
She's like, we got no.
Ashley's like, we're done. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for showing up today in your awesome Black Panther cosplay.
I was going to say, we're all going to be each at our tables, located just right out here, literally to the right or out there. So feel free to come by, meet us.
And we also have individual panels later on in the day. Mine is from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in here.
Yeah, mine is from 5 to 6 or 5:30 to 6:30. And I'm going to be talking more about this and teaching you guys some of the warrior moves that we learned in Black Panther if you're interested in learning it.
Mine is 8 to 9, I think.
8 to 9, yeah. And we all individually, we have some merchandise and stuff if you guys want to support. If you don't, it's all good. And we can answer any other questions that you guys have. You are so beautiful, and I want to let you guys know, one day or day one, whatever your dream is, you can say, I wish I could have, would have, should have done that, or tomorrow I'm going to do that, or you can say, today I'm going to make it as my day one doing that. Even if it takes you just taking out your phone and writing down your vision. You can do it. We appreciate you.
Thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end. You can subscribe here to subscribe to the channel. There's more videos off to the left. Mr. J says, don't forget to ring that bell button for more notifications.